Welcome to Dub Nation, your hub for everything Utah Warriors and Major League Rugby. I'm Jarom Jordan alongside Banksy. The Cardiac Kids have done it again. This is who this team is, Banksy.
Don't say you don't believe when the Warriors are on the field and there's time left on the clock, baby.
It's amazing. We'll break it all down. We're live on the Utah Warriors Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts, on demand on KSLSports.com, KSL Sports app, KSL TV app. We broadcast Thursday nights on ESPN 700 and 960. Of course, subscribe to the podcast version if you want on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. If you have a comment, fire away. We'll try and get to some of those. What are we handing out tonight, Banks?
You know, the bucket hats are back in style. Everything that's old is new again. So we got this sweet Warriors bucket hat. Keep that summer heat off your face, your neck, your ears. Don't get sunburned and look good doing it. All you have to do is share the show on Facebook, retweet the post of the game on Twitter, and you're in with a chance to win it.
Ain't nobody got time for a sunburn. Come on, man. Here's what's on the rundown. We'll recap the comeback win at Rooney. Oh, so good. 4 minutes left. Warriors get it done again. Scores around Major League Rugby. The standings. We'll preview the game at Houston. Gotta win it. And our guest tonight. 3-guest night. Let's go. Scrum half Danny Christensen. Oh, he came off the bench. Warriors win. Dr. Anthony Butler from Intermountain Healthcare. Great 3-year deal just announced yesterday. Fantastic. And Josh Macy, the Lindewood head coach, because pro days are headed to St. Charles, Missouri. And Josh Macy has it going with the Sevens. Lindewood has won the last 3 national championships, men and women. So he's got it going on. All right, let's recap the game. 29-28. Utah's already played a score by this same scoreline. Another dramatic win. 76th minute. Mika Kruse, amazing run out of a maul by Lance Williams to get to within 10 meters. Our boy Danny Christensen over to Mika Kruse. Bang! Warriors win again.
It was absolute pandemonium in the final minutes, and nobody believed it would happen for a third week in a row. Nobody, that is, except for the 15 guys on the field wearing red and black in New York.
And us.
We knew. I never doubted you.
Never doubted. Oh, just the ability of this team to not quit, to not get a lead that's more than one score if they do, to not be down by too much to, overcome. Down 9 in this game, come back and win. And it was interesting, Banksy, because this was a lineup that featured about 7 dudes that typically come off the bench. They started, did a nice job, but we're down by 9. And then when those reinforcements showed up, which has been the opposite, it's been the bench who's done a nice job of coming back. Now those regular starters come in, Mikey Teo and Mika Kruse and company, they come in and they had a major impact in this game. As we take a look at the game-winning try here, it's a line out late with about 4 minutes left. Lance Williams does the majority of the work here.
It was a great team try. The call comes in, and you see up goes Gieselman. I think it was that Mikey that went up on the line out on that. And then the drive forward, and it falls apart, but Lance Williams just grabs an opposing player and just keeps driving. As long as he's got an opposing player engaged, he's still in the maul, and so he chews up those 20 meters And then all it took was a quick look from DC over his shoulder, knew Mika was on the outside. And because of how far Lance drove in that maul, they had to commit to the defense inside, and Mika was wide open for the score.
DC, better than the Snyder Cut, was this version at the very end here. It wasn't 4 hours. It was 4 minutes left in the game. And just, they do it again. 3 weeks in a row, man. 3 weeks in a row. At Seattle, 29-28. San Diego at home. At Rooney. Oh, this team is just incredible. So the Cardiac Kids have done it. 10 of the 13 games for the Utah Warriors decided by 7 or less. Utah 6-4 in those. And look at this. Great graphic. At Austin, 2-pointer. DC, Houston, DC, Seattle, San Diego, Rooney. Look at this. Look at what this team's doing. I mean, you could argue that the other 4 games, hey, if a couple of those go this way, the Warriors are the number 1 team in the league. Warriors could also be looking at 3-7 and struggling, but they've found a way to do it and are 6-4 in 1-score games.
It's a credit to the leadership core of this team getting it done in these final minutes. We've looked a lot to Mikey Teo, but you cannot discount the resurgence and form of Ali Khalifi, whether he starts or whether he comes off of the bench. Not only his physicality, but his mentality in the game. He has that championship pedigree. He's played on winning teams. He knows what it takes to get it done. And there's been a couple of times where he's just put this team on his back. And now the younger guys, we see a lot of that reflect in guys like Thomas Tuoval. You saw, Mike Gieselman get an incredible start and played fantastic minutes in this game. It's trickling down through this entire organization, and it starts with that leadership core, those 5 or 6 guys who are really the heart and soul of this team.
Okay, so per the norm, let's recap when the comeback began. 45th minute, the backup hooker, Wilton Ribolo, playing for the injured Dylan Fawcett, who left in the first 15 minutes there at hooker. Rooney's up 28-19, Rugby United New York. It's now a second half 2-score deficit, not unfamiliar territory for Utah. This is when the comeback begins. The Guerrilla squad comes in, and they had a massive impact, okay? 60th minute, Cliven Lopser races to the edge, cuts the deficit to 4. It's 28-24 with 20 minutes to go. It was certainly, within reach at that point. But defensively, no points allowed, right, for Rooney to creep back into this one. And then the Mika Crusade try happens, but it was Cliven Lopser that kind of set it up with 20 minutes to go.
There was a lot of question marks about the starting combinations with Cliven being in and some of those other guys getting a rest, with Mika, getting some rest and coming in off the sideline. But really the Warriors didn't lose anything. And it started right here with the quick tap from Mikey and just the read of the line. And you see, I think that's Hanko Hirschmas who comes up quickly. And the quick feet, it was just a cheeky little left stab with his foot on Hanko that made that open line there for him, and he just backed himself with pace. Had Mika on the outside, but he was marked and got it done. And everything else after that, I feel like it was just academic. It was the Warriors saying, look, we're going to do what we do. We're going to stick to our game plan, and things are going to start going right for us. And the X's and O's finally turned into some points for them for the 3rd week in a row in the final 5 minutes of a match to give the rest of us a complete and total aneurysm while we watch on our TVs, mobile devices, and wherever else you catch your rugby.
Cliven and the radio, right? Radio.
Yes, and the radio.
Cliven Lopser on Hanko Hamashais. That's a World Cup alum on World Cup alum crime right there. Namibia on the U.S., so that was crazy. Okay, a couple of stats that stick out. Tries, 5-4. That was the difference. That's a 5-pointer again for Utah. We'll get to this later, but LA did not get 4 tries, so it's a 4-point difference now. Conversions. Cliven Lopser struggled on the conversions in this one. In the end, it didn't matter. That's all good. Can work on it. Penalty goals. Utah didn't attempt one. Possession. Way in front with Utah. Territory. Way in front with Utah. Look at these lineouts, by the way. The return of Matt Jensen means the lineouts have been way better. Scrums, 100%. This was awesome. I want to point out that, maybe the field goal posts weren't ideal for Mr. Lopser, and it was a little windy. But in the end, it didn't cost Utah at all.
It's a total team effort. When you look at this stat sheet and you can talk about the return of Matt Jensen and obviously going 15-16 at the lineouts and being big in the scrums was a big part of him being part of the MLR team of the week. But this Utah Warriors team is the MLR team of the week for a reason, and it took all 23 guys to get it done. We can highlight the players that scored, but it was really a sideline to sideline, top to bottom roster effort.
Okay, a couple game notes. This extends the team record 4-game win streak, also the longest winning streak in Major League Rugby. That's great. I mentioned 10 of 13 games decided by 7 or fewer. 3 straight weeks of winning in the final 5 minutes, by the way. And then the first ever win versus Rugby United New York. They had played 2 previous times in 2019. So winning 29-28. Utah Warriors take down Rugby United New York. And the hottest team in the league right now are your Utah Warriors. So far, so good.
I mean, you want to talk about a win when you need it most. Every win at this point is a must win, right? Whether we're fighting for the 1 seed, depending on what happens this week, or we solidify that 2 seed for the playoffs, we've got to win them all for a chance to go through. It's way too tight at the top, 1 through really 3 right now. San Diego have a chance, but if, depending on what happens this week, that chance could completely go away. This team believes that they're a championship caliber team, and they're doing whatever it takes to get it done. Playing on the road in New York, never easy for any team. We've seen a lot of teams struggle. Every team really struggle going in there. So to make that big trip from West Coast to East Coast and get the win was massive for this Warriors squad.
Yeah, like Michael Jordan during Minion Eastern Conference Finals against New York, visited New Jersey, and then came out a winner. Yeah. Now, in his case, it was to go gamble. In the case of the Warriors, it was to win a game. It was to win a game.
It was to win a crucial game, and more importantly, to put pressure on LA, who have really kind of cruised through this season almost unchallenged. And now you look at how close some of these games have been for the Warriors. And if we take 4 points out of that, we're tied for first in any one of those other losses that the Warriors have right now. And things don't get any more distant between us and the Gilgronis right now, who are still playing red hot rugby, and they've got new staff and new players in there. So, it's been great to have all of these pieces click. And I think this game really showcased how deep this organization is, really at all 15 positions.
You could say they crusade through the season so far. Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
Fired.
That was bad.
So fired.
I don't even know if I still have a job here. Anyway, Junior Warriors, what's coming up?
Junior Warriors clinics are just $25. It's a 2-hour clinic before our home games. You get 2 tickets to the game. The next clinic is July 10th at Zions Bank Stadium in Harriman. Go to warriorsrugby.com. If you've got kids and Junior Warriors, you want to get involved in the sport or just a chance to meet some of their favorite players and interact with the coaches, join the Junior Warriors for just $25 at warriorsrugby.com.
Okay, Week 14, Major League Rugby scores. We'll walk through these a little quicker than usual. NOLA beats Toronto 18-12 in Atlanta. Rugby ATL downs Houston 33-15. LA holds on against San Diego in the California Cup there, 19-13. That was a tight one. Giltini's missed 4 kicks in the first half. And Austin beat Seattle 36-31. So Austin keeps pace there.
No real surprises in the win-loss sheet, I think, this week. Most of the favorites in these games won. What really surprised me was how close all of these games were. And, the teams finding form now through a tough early start, people coming out of COVID protocols to now just being able to play rugby and be together. The single-digit score sheets on every game except for the Houston game, pretty significant when you look at the quality of rugby being played in Major League Rugby.
There was 1 week earlier in the season, I want to say week 5, where all the games were decided by 1 score, which was crazy. So, yeah, that parity is real, and it's fun. Let's take a look at the standings. Western Conference standings, LA up on Utah with the game in hand. So, this could be 8 or 9 points. But look who's in playoff position still. This is awesome. Utah controls its own destiny. Austin's 5 points behind. Utah has defeated Austin twice, so there's a tiebreaker. I don't know the official tiebreakers. I'm going to have to look at that, but I would think head-to-head matters. San Diego is 14 points behind the Warriors. So I'm trying to do the math quickly. I haven't thought about it until this moment. If Utah gets 5 this week and San Diego doesn't, I'm pretty sure it's over for San Diego to make the playoffs. So, and then Houston, of course, the opponent this week, 13 points.
So San Diego almost all but mathematically eliminated, joining, I believe, Toronto, Houston, and Seattle as the teams that have all been completely ruled out of making a playoff spot. So really the only thing they have to play for now is spoiler for what the Warriors have going on. And I know no athlete likes anything better than, throwing a wrench in the works and being able to, if you can't win a season, hang your hat on ruining it for somebody else, And so the Warriors are going to have to stay sharp with not an easy game against Houston, on the road, but then tough back-to-back games looking ahead to Rugby ATL and LA to close out the season. It ain't over, guys. It's going to be really close, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a point or two in it between who's in and who's out on the final day of the season.
And who's the best at bonus points in the league? The Utah Warriors with 14. Okay, Eastern Conference standings. Rugby ATL, the next home game coming up July 10th. That's a big game. 46 points in the East for Rugby ATL. Rooney with 41. Utah kind of messed with the second place standings a little bit here last week, although Rooney did get 1 point for scoring 4 tries. Nola at 38, Free Jacks at 34, and then Old Glory DC and Toronto behind. But yeah, it's still an interesting race in the East as well.
And a big battle coming up this week. I think Nola and the Free Jacks are the matchup in the East this week to watch for a chance to still stay alive in that Eastern Conference race. Really, I think it's a two-pony show right now with Rugby ATL and Rooney controlling their own fate with their schedules and the rest of the season and the way they're playing, with some good quality rugby. But that should be something to watch with all the intensity in the world and basically a playoff position on the line with that 3-4 matchup in the East Coast this weekend.
All right, if you don't have season tickets this year, it's okay. You can get season tickets for next year. All it takes is a $50 deposit, and trust me, this is going to be worth it.
Call 801-477-7652. It is the best way to see your Warriors in action. Dub Nation is really starting to take off, and it makes a difference for these guys when they're on the field. Every time I talk to them, they love playing at home, and they love playing for you. They can hear you, they can feel you, and we have the best home field advantage in all of MLR, and it's because we have the best fans when Dub Nation shows up in force. So become a season ticket holder. Go to warriorsrugby.com and check it out. There is no deposit required right now, so call 801-477-7652 or go to warriorsrugby.com to get your season tickets for the 2022 season.
I love it. We can't wait to see you guys out there. It's fantastic. Okay, round 15 games this week. Rooney at Toronto. Rooney trying to stay in the hunt for second place. Nola Gold at New England. Utah at Houston, which we'll preview coming up in a little bit. DC at ATL. Austin at San Diego is pretty fun. That's the game of the week for me. And then LA at Seattle.
That San Diego game is going to be tough. It's hard as a Warriors fan to want to cheer for San Diego, but in this particular game, I'm going to be a Legion fan. Sign me up for it right now. If they can put it on the Gilgronis and give the Warriors a bit of breathing room, what a great week that would be. And don't overlook LA going into Seattle. That's not going to be an easy win for them either. Seattle's playing a much better brand of rugby with some of their new additions and the changes in their coaching staff. That's not an easy win for the Giltinis.
You calling a close one there?
Look, now that I've said it out loud, they're probably going to win by 30. So it's the commentator's curse.
We shall see. We yield such power. The power to snap streaks and create close margin. No, we don't.
Look,
okay.
Great matches to look forward to. And coming up, you guys, you may even have a chance to see yours truly take the field at Zions Bank Stadium. There's an old boys game coming up on July 10th. If you want to register for the Warriors Rugby alumni events, touch tournament, old boys games, it's all happening on July 10th. Come out and see me put my boots on for the 4 times a year that it ever happens.
Worth the price of admission.
I don't just talk the talk, you guys. I promise I can play rugby a little bit too.
He's going to walk the walk, maybe even run the run. We'll see how it goes.
There's going to be a lot of walking.
3 guest day today. We begin with Danny Christensen, the scrum half, former University of Utah All-American. His head coach, Sean Pittman, has called him the best third-string scrum half in the league. Somehow Utah has him. He's awesome. He now joins Dub Nation. Danny, what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
How's it going, guys?
Hey, really well. Not as good as things are going for you. What a game Saturday. What a performance. What an opportunity for you. You'd played, I think, 7 minutes in one game previously. You come in, game-winning try assist, man. What was that like?
Honestly, dream come true. Super unexpected, great opportunity. I've never been so far on the depth chart, so far down on the depth chart, and had so much support from my teammates all the time. It honestly was a dream come true. Everybody trusted me to do my job, and it just turned out. It went well.
So talk about the lead up to this score right here. That maul goes in. Gus McClellan and Tuveta Bungakoto kind of come out like there's a set call, but Lance just keeps going. You look up, and I know you can see Mika on the outside. You're there quick for that ball. What are you thinking as you come up thinking it's on right now, this is going to happen?
To be honest, I was a little confused. You can tell, like, I'm kind of like following the maul, but then for a second I'm like looking around like, wait, hold on, what's going on? I think honestly, because they got penalized super early in that maul, and I think that everybody's expecting it to collapse. And Matt Jensen is just pulling Lance along, and Tommy, it looks like. And we're just like, well, shoot, it keeps going, keeps moving. And then I hear Mika from about 15 meters back, like, space on the right, space on the right. And so, of course, just early communication made it easy to find him in space, and he did the job like he always does.
Listen, 28-24, you guys have been in this position, but it's different when you're in the game, right? Like, okay, you have to make the pass that leads to the win. But you've prepared for this moment, and Sean Pittman's very complimentary of you. He thinks very highly of you. What was it like to step into that role and keep the team going in the direction it had been going, which is, you know what we do? We come back and we win in the end.
Honestly, I was super nervous on the bench. Like, I'm one that's like, if I get in a situation, like, I'm usually like, okay, I can handle this. And I felt that way coming on, but at the same time, it was like, I've done this once before. It was 7 minutes. But like you said, this is something that I've legitimately been training for 4 years. Like, year one, I showed up and was just practicing around. I wasn't even a part of the team year two. Year three, they asked me to come back because we needed a third string scrum half. And I've, of course, just been, sitting behind guys like Dwayne last year, behind Baska, behind Fraser, like these guys that are, going out next week to represent their national teams. And so I've had a ton of opportunity just to sit back and learn from these guys. And they've been, honestly, we have a really cool, tight-knit group, the three of us, along with Yuri, who plays scrum half as well. And it's really cool to see the camaraderie despite the competition. It's really a pretty special thing.
But it's always been that way for you since I've known you when you came out of the U and you started playing at Park City Haggis. And in the games that I've played with you, you're one of my favorite kids to watch. And most importantly, you're one of my favorite kids to play with because I always know where Danny, as a forward, when I'm tired, when my head's buried in somewhere, it's that leadership that you've always had, to your credit. But now you pair that with the ability of the guys around you. And let's not underestimate the importance of, Sean Davies and his experience in that. How has that learning experience been? It's got to be a masterclass in playing 9 from your position, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's honestly a dream come true because, I grew up playing 9 in high school and then come to college and I had to switch to fly half. And I was not the best fly half, but I was the best that we had. And so I had 4 years of a lot of my higher level experience playing rugby, not playing scrum half. I haven't played scrum half since I was 18 until I came back to the Warriors. I'd pop in occasionally for a few minutes, with Park City Haggis and with other groups, but I really hadn't had much coaching at 9 and much experience outside of high school at 9. And so stepping into playing with some of those guys, and then of course, like you mentioned, playing for Sean, like we played against each other in college, which is kind of funny. And we've actually had that conversation a couple of times, like, I didn't really like you very much then, but turns out you're an all right guy.
Nines don't like anyone on the opposition when they play rugby, though. That's just the nature of a 9.
We're all we're yappy ankle biter dogs, We're just there to be loud and be annoying, as you clearly mentioned earlier. And for whatever reason, we're spicy little guys. I think we have to be in order to be tackling some of the big boys that we do on occasion. But yeah, it's fun. I'm lucky. I'm honestly in an amazing position. It's been great. It's been amazing.
Little Utes and Cougars thing. Kyle Sumption, former BYU guy for Rooney as well, which is kind of a fun connection too.
Yeah, Kyle and I coincidentally played against each other at rival high schools. We played against each other in the national championship our senior years. I played at the U, he played at BYU, and then we got to meet up on the field this last weekend, which has been cool in Major League Rugby, which is awesome. Granted, Kyle's gone on and done some really cool things like capping with the international team, coaching at West Point, doing some awesome stuff in rugby. But it's been fun to catch up a little bit and to experience that.
Look, full credit to you and all you've done, Danny. Like so many others on this team, it's all about just putting in the hard work and the hard yards. And this team is full of guys that are not afraid to work hard and to learn and to check their egos. You've always been that way since I've been on the field with you and since I've known you, man. So congratulations on all your success and congratulations on the big win and that moment, man. You deserve it.
Hey, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it, all the kind words. And like I said, and like I always say, just grateful to be a part of the program, It's pretty lucky.
Okay, well, but before you go, did you take your shirt off in Times Square like Lance, or what was the story there?
The shirt stayed on in Times Square. I'm one that on occasion does like to pop the tarp, but Times Square was not the occasion for me this year. So
It looked like you guys had a great time out there.
Oh yeah, we did. It was honestly a blast. I think coming off a win, it was an early game, so we had the evening to hang out as a team and to have go out and do some cool things and coming off a win like that, a last second win for the third week in a row, it's been a blast, and we definitely went out and had a good night. It was really fun.
And last thing, you went on your mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to Fiji. You learned Fijian, I assume. Like, did you love rugby before, and did that help? Because obviously you can speak Fijian with Tuveri Vungakoto and the Whippies. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's a ton of fun, and I'm the annoying little white kid that speaks a foreign language and just does it every opportunity that he has. But it is a ton of fun, and even like in little things in practice, like they'll make calls or I'll communicate to them while we're playing in Fijian, and it just adds a little level of mystery. Nobody knows quite what we're gonna do, but it's a ton of fun. It's really cool, and you don't get a chance to speak Fijian too often, so having a bunch of Fijian teammates has been a ton of fun.
I believe that statement defines Fijian rugby. Nobody knows what they're going to do.
Exactly. and to be honest,
you just never know.
It's the combination of nobody else knows what they're going to do, but honestly, somehow none of them know what they're going to do either, but their brains just gel. I don't understand it. It's crazy. I saw it for 2 years going out at least once a week and playing touch for 3 or 4 hours. Like, they just know exactly what the other's going to do. And it's crazy. I mean, we see it with the Whippy brothers, especially. They literally share the same brain, I think.
Well, those guys are like the kaiju from Pacific Rim or something. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys are awesome. Yeah. Well, Danny,
we just got to
congrats on all the success. Exactly. We're looking forward to the next couple weeks. Obviously, Michael Baska and Fraser Hurst are going to bounce, and you're going to be the guy. So it's going to be fun coming up July 10th against Rugby ATL, and then a big game on Saturday for you guys against Houston.
Yeah, can't wait. We'll keep our fingers crossed. I'm excited.
Okay, thanks, Danny. We appreciate the time, man.
Okay, thanks, gentlemen. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Danny Christensen, Warrior scrum half, comes in, gets the job done. He's great, and honestly, he's put in so much work behind the scenes, literally for 7 minutes and then, about 15, 20 minutes. But it was worth it. It was worth it because it helped this team stay in a playoff spot.
It's the mentality of the guys on this roster that you don't see on game day. It's every single one of them, from guys like Danny Christensen to even some of the pathway guys like Logan Tongo that are on the squad that show up every single week and fight and push the first team guys to keep their spots. And with now these international call-ups, because these guys have trained with quality, we lose nothing in having somebody like Danny Christensen come in the place of Fraser Hurst or Michael Baska. He's a great 9 with a really high ceiling. He's a fun guy to play with, and he's the type of guy, like a Mike Gieselman type, who just shows up and does whatever you ask him. The answer is always yes, never afraid to put in the work. He's never too good for the job at hand, and they're all just incredible assets to this organization.
We look forward to July 10th, the next home game. That week, both Fraser Hurst and Michael Baska will be gone. Hopefully starting, playing, at least coming off the bench in international test matches. Get your tickets on WarriorsRugby.com to the next home game in Harriman in Zions Bank Stadium. All the Yosepa jerseys will be out and in full force, and we expect Danny Christensen will be the starting scrum half that night.
Should be exciting. It's the debut of the Yosepa jersey, the first chance for a lot of people to see these in person, the best-looking kit in Major League Rugby, the best-looking alternate kit, and what a great occasion to debut it against Rugby ATL, the top team in the Eastern Conference, coming to town July 10th. WarriorsRugby.com. Get your tickets.
Okay, let's spend a couple minutes previewing the Utah Warriors at Houston SaberCats coming up Saturday, June 26th, 6 Mountain Time, Utah at Houston on the KSL TV app, the Rugby Network, and we'll have the call on ESPN 700 as well. The story here is Utah trying to get a 5-pointer, score 4 more tries and win to maintain its playoff position. Certainly on paper, the Warriors are the favorite. Houston has had issues. 2 wins, that's tied for last in MLR. 11 losses, that's the most. And then 13 points is fewest in the league. Minus 200 3-point differential, minus 38 try differential, only 5 bonus points. Houston has struggled. But this was a 50-43 game in Harriman. You got to be ready for Houston because they put up 43.
There are weapons on this team. I mean, take nothing away from any team in Major League Rugby. It doesn't matter that the Utah Warriors have more bonus points in their schedule than the Houston SaberCats have points total from this season. When you put your boots on and the whistle blows for 80 minutes, it's mano a mano, all right? And you can't take anything away from your opposition. You have to play your game, and the Warriors are going to have to come prepared to fight a very scrappy Houston SaberCats team on the road.
Now, the good news for Utah is it put up 50 in that game where Houston scored 43, which, by the way, is the most in team history. The top 3 have all come since that game. So 50 is the most in Utah Warriors history. And then 45, there are 2 games, May 29th against Austin, June 12th, a couple weeks ago against San Diego. So Utah is clicking on offense. The issue won't be scoring points. It's just whether Houston will be kept from the try zone, which Sam Windsor's going to kick a bunch of penalties. They take points a lot. It's avoiding tries allowed.
They've been great. Sam Windsor, to his credit, the first player in MLR this year to 100 points. He's got a fantastic boot. I mean, he's going to have to continue to be a factor. He has been all year, kind of one of the bright spots for them for this year. But you're talking about a Warriors team that is a much different and much better developed team than it was the first time these two teams met. You want to talk about the physical dominance of Thomas Tuoval kind of putting his stamp on that number 6 jersey a little bit and, forcing Lance Williams into a playing position now where, thankfully we've been able to move Lance into the 8 position and cover and have that. But you want to talk about somebody like Ollie Khalifi, Gus McClellan, the physical impacts of Saya Uhila on defense when he comes in. There is some physicality in this team that wasn't there the first time these two met that I think is going to be a big difference maker in that scoreline.
Couple of other players to watch. Robbie Pove, who played for the team last year, Canadian international, is on the squad. He's a really good fly half. Viramu Diki Lati, one of the best names in the league. Nick Boyer's a tremendous scrum half as well. Of course, Sam Windsor, we mentioned, who has scored 100-plus points all 3 full seasons of MLR, right? Last year, of course, being the exception. But it's a team that has talent. Obviously, it hasn't worked very well this year. Paul Healy is the head coach. He's going to be let go at the end of the year, and they'll transition to somebody else. But, again, a lot of times when people say, listen, every game is tough, there's, you got to bring – that's a lie. That's not a lie in Major League Rugby. Like, Seattle only has 2 wins. One of them's against Utah. Houston almost beat Utah the first time. So I'm interested to see how this game plays out. Houston certainly has Utah's attention. It's Saturday night, 6 o'clock. This is a really important game.
This should be a statement on the mentality of the Warriors. And if they can stay focused mentally for 80 minutes on the X's and O's and the things that they have to do and just do your job. I mean, was it the New England Patriots that made that statement famous, right? Do your job. Show up, take care of the business that you're responsible for, and everything else will take care of itself. If the Warriors play Warriors rugby, this game will be fine. If the Warriors get sucked into playing the kind of rugby that the Houston SaberCats want to play, this could be a lot closer than I think most of us are comfortable with, and the Cardiac kids may have to do it again. But I think this Warriors team can get out early, can apply continuous pressure through the first 40, and then look to the Gorilla Squad to get some guys some much-needed rest and some minutes and continue to pour on what we've been able to do so far this season with that reserve unit coming on the field.
Will this be a game decided by more than one score? Utah's only won one game by more than 7.
I really hope so.
I think it will be, but again, that first game was, Houston went up 12-0, I think, in that. So you got to be ready. Okay, that's coming up Saturday, 6 Mountain Time, of course, KSL TV app, the Rugby Network, and ESPN 700. Okay, Tuesday, the Utah Warriors announced a partnership with Intermountain Healthcare as the exclusive provider of healthcare and sports medicine for the next 3 years. Fantastic. This includes primary care, sports science, sports medicine, preseason exams and testing. After Banksy bangs up his knee July 10th, they'll take care of him. Medical coverage at games, nutrition, recovering, more. We now welcome to the program Dr. Anthony Butler, Associate Medical Director of Intermountain Healthcare Sports Medicine. And it's good to finally have a doctor on the program. This is the first time. Welcome to the program, Dr. Anthony Butler.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Doc,
Absolutely.
thank you for upgrading the quality of guests that we have on this show. I feel like we're highbrow it. We've made it. We have a doctor on the show.
Hey, I was listening in for a little bit. You guys are pretty highbrow yourselves. So glad to be here.
Thank you. Well, certainly this partnership is one that's continuing. There's already been a relationship with Intermountain Healthcare. Why now with Intermountain Healthcare and the Warriors to extend this 3 more years?
Oh, I just think, the time is super right for this. We're super proud to be, especially with the Warriors. We've been there in the past, and it was really time to extend this out for a couple more years so we could really make a difference in the long term. It makes such a difference when you know you're going to be there year to year. You can just take a little bit better care of the guys, do some more off-season things that we'd really like to do. It's a fantastic partnership. We love what the Warriors bring with an international flair, but a very community-focused thing, especially on the west side of Salt Lake. Such a great population, such a great town to be in, and we're just excited to do it. Our docs are ready, and really a fantastic team taking care of you guys.
Well, and I know a lot of our guys have been to the orthopedic specialty hospital specifically to recover and rehab. I've spent time there recovering and rehabbing injuries that I've played in rugby, and it's the care that I got with Intermountain when I got hurt, and I can speak from this firsthand, was unlike any other, specifically in that hospital, because they understand athletes, and more importantly, they just understand how to heal people. And so it was the combination of that knowledge that I felt like was really special, that what Intermountain does for their athletes really pairs well with what the Utah Warriors want to bring to our community and heal and grow and bond together. And it's really a credit to what Intermountain Healthcare has built, and we're super excited for that partnership. I'm
super happy to hear that, Jared. I'm glad your time at Tosh was great. I practiced there, half day a week, and I certainly have found that. I think that the facilities are really state of the art, and more than that, the people, they just do get it. And I think we look at this, we have a number of high profile partnerships, but the Warriors are a professional team. We really look at these guys as kind of like we look at the space program, right? This is the top of the top, right? What we always ask, what does the space program do for me? Well, it gave me my Apple Watch. So I'm really grateful for the space program. and we look at that as our care model for these athletes. These are the top of the top, and they keep us at the top of our game. And they push us just like they push each other to be the best every day. They push us to be the best every day so we can take care of, college, high school, and just the recreational weekend warrior who hurts himself coming down the canyon and wants some care. Yeah, so that's we're grateful for this partnership. We think we align well with this culture of excellence that the Utah Warriors have certainly established and continuing to grow.
Give us a sense of what the relationship actually means, because people hear that and they go, "Oh, that's nice." But in terms of the actual care of a sports team, what is it that entails?
Well, it starts in the off season as we prep for the upcoming season. We want to make sure that every athlete leaves with a really individualized plan for what they can do to rest, recover, and get better over the off season. And that's what's nice about being able to be a year, not just a year to year, but a multi-year partner with the Warriors. Then the athletes come in, and we got to make sure that everybody's ready to go. So we do a pre-patient physical on all the athletes. We look at them at the ML. Major League Rugby has great requirements on things we have to do, all the way from concussion screening to the heart to the physical, joints, what they do. So we take a lot of time with each athlete. We look them over carefully at the start of the season to see how they're doing. And then it's just, the communication and making sure that we're attentive to the needs of injuries, sure, but what about some of the nagging things? What about medical things when people get, they've got some reflux going on, or they think they're having trouble breathing? What do we do to help treat that asthma? Just making sure that we're there for all of that. And then obviously when people see us is game day. Game day is no slouch. Rugby's a little bit unusual. The home games, we provide 2 physicians who are there full time, the match and the team physician. And, it's a big, long day for our folks, but great chance to be a part of a great team. And And we're just excited for the chance to be able to cover these practices, go to the games, and be a small part of the team and their success.
And full credit to those game day doctors as well. We've seen a couple of situations over really the past 4 weeks in Harriman with some players being knocked out unconscious, and we see that concussion protocol, that your doctors are the first on the scene to attend to the safety of these players. And it's incredible to see somebody who was, for all intents and purposes, fast asleep against their will and being carted off the field. So I'm in the locker room after the game, and these guys walk back in under their own power with clarity and with a smile on their face, and ranting and raving about the care that they got from you and your doctors. So it's incredible to watch you guys work and to watch you do what you do. And it's such a great partnership that we're really excited for here at Dub Nation too. Well,
thank you. The next doc you should have on the show is really Todd May, who heads the Utah Warriors medical team. And he's a fantastic guy. We're both former military. I was in the Air Force. Todd was in the Navy. And we've both come to Intermountain Healthcare over the last 5 years. Todd took care of a lot of Navy SEALs and service members with a lot of needs. And there's something similar to Navy SEALs and rugby players, right? Super nice, chill people off the field. You put them on the pitch, and you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? So he's a great doc for your team, and he'd be a great, fascinating person for you to talk to about just how he approaches this. He's assembled just a super medical team around him. You got great folks there with Jen and Tyler full time, and Matt, your strength and conditioning coach. Just a great team. So we're happy to be a part of it anyway.
Well, Todd May, we'll line it up with Todd. Dr. Anthony Butler, we appreciate your time, and we're excited about this partnership.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be here.
Okay, thanks so much. That's Dr. Anthony Butler from Intermountain Healthcare. Man, they do a great job, as mentioned, so we're stoked about this relationship. Okay, 3 guests a day. Let's get to our third guest. Warriors Pro Day coming up at Lindewood on June 25th. That's later this week, St. Charles, Missouri. If you want someone that wins national championships to be involved with this, you get Josh Macy, because the last 3 years, his men and women's sevens teams have won the Natty. Let's welcome Josh Macy, the Lindewood head coach, onto Dub Nation. Josh, congratulations on all the national championships. We're stoked about the Pro Day coming your way.
We're excited too. I think anytime we can create good touch points with high-performing organizations like the Warriors, it's a good day in St. Charles, Missouri.
So how does that conversation start? Obviously, the success of your program and what you've been able to build speaks for itself, but how do you make that connection between your college team and an MLR program that's almost as far away from you as it could possibly be to run a pro day for the community there?
So, we really desire to be the hub of rugby in our region, right? St. Louis, the Midwest. There's no MLR teams, within throwing distance of us right now. And there's a vibrant club rugby scene, high school scene here in St. Louis. And so we want to really serve our community, much like I've seen from you guys. And part of that is kind of bringing the outside world to St. Louis, right? So we don't just want this opportunity for our guys. We want it for, the D2 college player who probably isn't going to get a look, or the high school coaches to come and watch. And we really try to position ourselves that way. And, the fact that we do have a dozen or so players in the league right now. Michael Baska is ripping it up for you guys, Lindenwood alum. And that helps us have some of these connections, but we really want to bring that home to our region more than anything.
Okay, and I should have, I shortchanged you a little bit. Guatemala national team captain?
Caught me off guard there, yeah.
Was that like a part of your career you forgot about? Like it surprised you?
Yeah, it's like it's certainly not something I lead with, but it was my wife and I were teaching out of the country for a while, and I had the opportunity to develop rugby in that country, and somehow got voted captain. Lots of stories, beyond that, and just a really good part of my, rugby history.
That's fantastic. Now, obviously the connection with Baska and some of the other players through the Midwest there, not just at Lindenwood University, but the entire St. Louis and Midwest region, the traditional rivalry between Kansas City and St. Louis is still very much there. How many of those players and how much of that community depth do you think will show up for something like this? Now that the opportunity's there, they've seen it with us here at home and how many pathways players we have. What's the reaction been like from that St. Louis community there and the rugby world around Lindenwood?
It's been really great. I mean, we have over 6 men's clubs just in St. Louis, and then over in Kansas City, you have another 3, 4, 5, I think now. And so, there's been a lot. I think the furthest registrant I've heard from is coming from Texas up to here, and that's somebody who lives in SaberCats country, right? And they're
Right.
coming up because they want to be on campus, they want to get in front of the Warriors, and so I don't think we can really we should underestimate the kind of draw that something like this has, and even if you're just getting your name down on a piece of paper somewhere, you're one step closer to being where you want to be, after that 4-hour training session.
So if you want to win the Sevens national championship, you should go to Lindenwood. Is that what I'm learning here?
Yeah, it's tough to make the team. We have a lot of really talented players, and because of when school ends, when 15s ends, we don't really play sevens other than at the end of May. So we only played in one sevens tournament this year. It was the CRC. In years past, we've only played in the USA Championship and the CRC. But because school's over, we can do 2-a-days. We can really dial it in and really create like some accuracy and urgency around the game of sevens, and it's worked out for us.
So the quality of the sevens game, not just at Lindenwood, but in America as a whole, has been a great launching point for rugby. Now that the 15s game is starting to develop and we can see the growth of that, obviously we'd love to see a franchise in your backyard in St. Louis. There's got to be some kind of talk. Have you heard any whispers, any rumblings? Can you be an insider on that?
No, I mean,
for us, Coach.
We've had some guests on campus, and there's a lot of like really great companies in St. Louis that could be potential partners. We have growing tech sector here in St. Louis as well. And MLS and leagues below, as far as soccer, they're building facilities all the time. So there's certainly opportunities here. It just takes the right group of people, as you guys well know.
Okay, well, if you want to go to St. Charles, Missouri and participate in the Pro Day, make sure you go to warriorsrugby.com. Josh Macy and everyone will be there to help run that. So, Josh, we appreciate the time, man. Best of luck, and congratulations on the national championships.
Thanks again for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Josh Macy, head coach at Lindenwood University, home of Michael Baska, baby.
Just incredible what he's been able to build at that program and the things that they've been able to establish. And when you realize that it's basically a part-time program for him that they're running, to have that kind of success, I think speaks to the quality of coach and the quality of the players and the program that he's built there at Lindenwood.
Listen, this episode flew by. I can't believe it's over, but we got to call it. We got to go because we've got to get ready for the Houston. We got Pro Day Friday in St. Charles. We got Utah at Houston coming up Saturday night, 6 Mountain on the KSL TV app, the Rugby Network, and ESPN 700. Like and share this episode of Dub Nation. Follow the Utah Warriors on social media throughout the season on KSL Sports and ESPN 700. For Danny Christensen, Dr. Anthony Butler, Josh Macy, Billy the producer, and Banksy, I'm Jarom Jordan. Go Warriors.